Today was nice. I enjoyed it. It was not easy work, but easier relative to the program days. It was very much a mobility day today, and today I focused on my upper body and my shoulder area in particular because I've noticed a trend recently where on my upper days, if I neglect what I would call like the soft work, the mobility work after my session, I pay for it. I pay for it in a lot of built up tension that makes my sleep suffer, which in turn makes my eating suffer. So as a whole, it just makes my recovery suffer. And whilst I don't know the science behind stretching or after workouts, I can't help but feel like making my body experience or to stimulate blood flow, through these exaggerated ranges of motion after having worked extremely hard through slightly shorter ranges of motion, I can't help but feel like I recover a lot better. I sleep, like I said, I sleep better. Better sleep leads to better eating. So everything, it's a domino effect. It's a cascade, and it all, it, it's essential. It really is essential. And I won't sit here and pretend that sometimes it's hard. It's hard to get that work in at the end of a session, especially if you've been there training for a couple of hours. It can be really difficult. It can be really difficult. However, looking back at just notes that I've been taking with regards to my sleep, combined with my logbook for my training, I've noticed it's key. It's really key. The days where my sleep's bad just happen to be the days where I neglect any sort of stretching, any sort of releasing of tension from my body after putting it through some stress. So that's something I need to take on board, especially going into tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be another tough day, probably the toughest day yet when it comes to squats and deadlifts. So tomorrow I can't neglect that because I'll pay for it. I'll pay for it. I'll pay for it in poor recovery. However, I'm glad that I've come to this conclusion. It hasn't taken me too long, if I'm completely honest. But it's something that I do feel like I needed to realize sooner rather than later because it's something that could have easily got away from me. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to being more consistent with it and seeing how well it affects me and how much of a positive effect it really has over a long period of time, because I think it will make a big difference, a really, really big difference. When I think about the nights where my sleep is poor, the only thing that I can really say is happening to me in that sleepless night, so to speak, is just having the inability to relax, and stretching most certainly will give you that ability. So yeah, I shall see you tomorrow.